Hi, this is Shilpi here. I'll make you walk through what exactly Spotfire is, what are the basic foundations for it, and the basics about Spotfire. So we'll start with it. Just a minute. Okay, so we'll start. So the agenda for today's session is we'll understand what is analytics because analytics is the basic foundation for Spotfire. What is TIBCO Spotfire? We'll understand the whole context, a little bit about the basics of Spotfire, what kind of visualizations are supported in Spotfire, what are some of the advanced features in Spotfire, and how is the market and jobs for Spotfire. So basically, what is analytics? Analytics is something in which you have a data, maybe structured or unstructured. In any format, you have a data, and you want to understand the ongoing patterns in data, the hidden patterns, the market standard patterns, any kind of patterns whenever you want to understand. So that forms a stream known as analytics. So we'll go through like introduction to analytics. What is analytics? As explained, like analytics helps you in understanding the hidden patterns in data. How is the market going? How do you want to study the market? What are the risks? Is there some kind of fraud going on? So these all are different forms of analytics. Analytics even helps you in uh, uh, giving a future understanding of the market as well. So why do we want to use it and what can I expect from it? So I want to use it because I need to understand how is my business going, how am I effectively running a project, or on a bigger level, how am I running an organization and how is the whole market reacting to it. So how do I get started? So for getting started, you need to have a basic understanding of what is analytics. So, and why do we prefer visual analytics over statistical analytics? Is it clear now? Okay, can you please all mute from your side so it will give you a better audio. I can still hear somebody's typing, so sure, I'll start. Okay, so I was explaining what is analytics. So analytics is a stream wherein we understand the hidden patterns of a data. We try to understand the data can be structured or unstructured, but you need to understand the inflow in the data, what kind of patterns it has. For example, if I say I have sales data, so I need to understand how is the sales going on, in which quarter was it better, in which year was it better. So these are some kind of patterns which we understand in analytics. Analytics has many forms, it has many streams, and all of these streams are supported by Spotfire. So what is analytics is basically you need to understand how the data is incoming, how the data is flowing, how the market is going, and how well are you running your organization. So uh, the outline is what is analytics. Analytics basically means to understand and the capability to analyze the data and understand the hidden patterns in data. And analytics basically helps you in making a good decision. It never gives you a firm decision, but it will help you in making a decision. So there's a lot of difference between these two terms when you use. So why use it and what can I expect from it? I would use it because I need to understand how well I'm running my project, or on a bigger level, how good I'm at running my business. How is the market responding to it? So how do I get started? To get started, when we started, you started from Excel. But as your business grows, you need some kind of a tool where you just feed in the data and you get the output. So that's where analytics comes, that way some kind of analytic tool comes into picture. So why to use visual analytics over statistical analytics? We never say that statistical analytics is not better, but visual analytics is better because that's a human tendency to understand uh, better from visualizations than reading in the whole Excel file. So what is analytics? It's like a framework for applying analytics. We have effective application in any environment. Analytics is never dependent upon your any kind of system. You can work where and how you want. So what is the foundation of analytics? It's the visualization types. Uh, does anybody has audio issue? Mm, I believe nobody. Shall I? Shahid, is it clear now? I'll start it with, you can interrupt me whenever it's not clear again for you. So, uh, okay, then I'll talk slowly only. If it's not clear, just let me know. The data distribution and relationship. By data distribution and relationship, we mean how well is your data and how well we can form relationships. If we cannot form relationships, how can we use it to make a decision? So, making the informed decision. By making the informed decision, we mean that,
Hi.
as I said, yeah, now,
Hi, this is Surender.
yeah, hi, Surendra. Surendra, do you have any question?
No, just now I joined in the meeting, okay?
Okay, fine.
Yeah. You already started this session?
Yes, we just started. Yeah, we just started 2 3 minutes back.
15 minutes back.
2 3 minutes back.
Okay. No problem.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. Okay. So analytics helps you in making a better decision. As I said, it never tells you that this is a decision which is good for you. So at the end, it's your capability to make sure that whatever decision you are choosing is best for you. So analytics, what is it? So analytics is the use of data, information technology, statistical analysis, quantitative methods, and mathematical or computer-based models to help managers gain improved insight about their business operations and make better fact-based decisions. So the core foundation of analytics is the data. So you have a number of technologies, a number of algorithms, even as well as a number of tools for using analytics. So analytics helps the managers or helps the higher management, or if you're in charge of your own business, in making a better decision, in making a fact-based decision that this is how the market is running and this should be the good. This is the best thing for you. So data that helps company track business trends. By business trends, we mean like wherever you are into business, you are actually selling a product, you are actually selling yourself. So you need to understand that how good are you at that, or how can you improve your things. So analytics leverage data in a particular functional process or application to enable context specific insight that is actionable. By actionable, we mean that how good your hold is on data, how good are you representing your data, how good is your visualization helping me in making a good decision. So, as I said, which is better, visual or statistical analysis? By no means visual or statistical analysis are less than each other. It's just you have to decide which is better for you. So, visual tools. Visual tools, it allows end users to easily create visual summaries of the data. So, visualizations, if in a layman language I talk, it's kind of a diagram you draw to represent your data. So, they are interactive, they're accessible, they're intuitive. Can please everybody go on mute? Thank you. And what is statistical analysis? Statistical analysis by means are very powerful. They have set algorithms. You can give it huge volumes of data. They will calculate the results on basis of that. So, what are statistical analysis? They're extremely powerful. Analysis of vast data volumes, but it's often hard to understand and use because that's kind of algorithms, that kind of mathematical formulas which does not go down well with everybody. So it's overkill for many quantities or qualities, because at times when you give it vast volumes of data, it makes the whole process slow and tedious as well. So we'll see an example for that. Why do we say that visual analytics is better? So this is known as statistical analysis, where you have spreadsheets, where you have Excels. Now you write some kind of formulas with it, you use it, and then you predict the results. But I have visual analytics. I just need to choose the right kind of visualizations, plot my data, and here you go with the results. So it's a thing which is easily understandable, and you can make a quick analysis, a quick decision. Okay, this is where I'm lacking, this is where I'm doing good. These are some of the examples of the visualizations which are possible. Okay, so what is Spotfire? Spotfire is an analytics product from TIBCO. It helps you in analyzing and explore data with intuitive and interactive visualizations. When we go in detail, when we go start from the sessions, you'll understand how good the visualizations are. How can you make them interactive? How can you give user more control over yourself? So we'll study these points in more details. So it helps you in quickly identifying trends and patterns in your critical business data. It provides incredible speed and flexibility. So how does it provide incredible speed and flexibility? It gives you a power that wherein you can load the data as and when it is required. On the other hand, loading the whole data at a go. So that is where the whole process speed increases, because like I can have millions and millions of data, but when you start your system, you don't need the whole millions of data to be there. So that's where the speed and flexibility increases. So you can directly access corporate and local data sources, including spreadsheets. Spotfire has a connector for every kind of data source currently present in market. So there is no data source which you cannot connect with Spotfire. It's compatible with SAP BW, SAP R3, Oracle E-Business Suite, Salesforce.com, any ODBC data, etc. It's connect. You can even connect it to Hadoop and Big Data. That is when this ODBC databases come into picture. You can create and distribute analytic applications for web. Whenever you create an application, you can publish it onto the web so that it's accessible across the world by anyone. It even has sharing and export capabilities. So what happens is, whenever you make an application, the business is always interested in seeing the underlying data. What is the data you are using? So whenever you publish it onto the web, you can always download the data for that visualization and what data you are using, so that it helps them in understanding, is this prediction correct or not. So that is how this whole business runs. So what are the Spotfire differentiators? By differentiator, we mean that how is Spotfire different from others? So it has dimension-free data exploration. By that we means that whatever data you have, it has the capability to visualize that data with the help of good visualizations, make them interactive, and it has no constraints over that. You have data, you can make it data on demand. By data on demand, we mean that uh, as and when the data is required, it is loaded onto the system. So, and the next is data mashup. By data mashup, we mean I have two tables. I'm loading it from two different systems. I need them to connect, but I don't want them to connect before I load them into Spotfire because that can be a tedious process at times. So Spotfire has a facility to combine the data on the fly dynamically when it is required in Spotfire as well. So you can combine data sources. You don't require any kind of scripting. It's just a click process there. By IT free, we mean that sometimes what happens is when you are loading the data from two different sources, you need to involve your IT department or something. It's not required. Predictive and event driven. Predictive and event driven, we mean that there are some tools in market which pump the data when an event is there. By event, we mean some kind of action is there. So it helps you in using and consuming that data as well and predict the future with it. It means that data at risk and in motion. Open source and third party and 2-second advantage. 2-second advantage is something which is the foundation of the whole TIBCO family. This is a principle which was laid in by Vivek Ramdev, the founder of TIBCO. So by that principle, he means everybody please go on mute. I'm not sure. Okay. So by 2-second advantage, what does Vivek or what does the TIBCO family mean is that if you had the data in pre-hand, it will help you in making a good decision. So that is what is the basic principle of Spotfire as well. Contextual collaboration. Contextual collaboration, we mean that I've opened an analysis and I see that this is the data of my interest. You can bookmark that data, you can make lists out of it, you can tag the data, you can publish those tags, you can keep it them to yourself. So, so it has bookmarks, it helps in making guided apps. Guided apps means like whenever you make a report, whenever you make a dashboard in Spotfire, it's generally said that you should have a story around it. So whenever I move from first report to the second report, I should understand what exactly is happening. So you can even share your analysis on different platforms, social platforms, because it's web-based. Enterprise class, it says that we have unmatched performance because it's data on click. It has a massive scalability and 24/7 expertise for it. So Spotfire is better and smarter for these top 5 reasons. We will see these reasons in detail. So we have clarity of visualization. By clarity of visualization, we mean that which organization, like by clarity of visualization, we mean that whenever I have a visualization, it should be able to correctly tell me what kind of story am I building. So for that, usually you give user more control so that if he can play around with the visualization, he'll get a better understanding that what exactly he's doing and how the results are changing. So for example, I've given an example here, like I say that which organization is responsible for a longer cycle time. So from the pie chart, you can immediately make out that it's London. Now, maybe this data is 6 months old and I'm interested in data like only for last 10 days for 20 days. So now if you can change, like I am interested in last 30 days data. I'm not interested in the other data. So again, you can see that it's London which is responsible for taking a longer cycle time. Now I want to see that what are the overall results for this thing. So this is how you can make your, the whole point is that how good your visualizations are, how self-explanatory they are, how they help you in understanding the things in a better way. Freedom of spreadsheets. Now, if I give you this thing and say that how many trees do you see? So you'll have to go word by word and circle the things and then make a count that okay, how many trees are there. So in Spotfire, you have all these functions inbuilt where whenever you call a function and pass it the required parameters, you'll get the results instantly. If I'm using Spotfire, it's just a function call for me there. Relevance of applications. By relevance of applications, we mean that how well your applications are connected, how well it is in a guided application, how well you can form a story around it, and how well it can show me the results. So, for example, we have an outrage management. I need to understand that how is my first report connected to the second report. Whenever, like, it may be that I have selected a product on my first page and I need to get the results for that on my second page. So is that something of that kind possible or not? So these things are possible in Spotfire. Like for example, the next example is the expense analysis. I'm seeing the expense like in some currency. I need my whole application to be in that currency. Or for example, everybody does not know English. Everybody does not understand Hindi. So if I've made my application in one language, is it compatible with other languages? I'm studying the expense analysis for a single department. I need to understand the whole report for that department. So this is where we say that relevance of applications, how well your applications are connected, are they compatible in any scenario? So this is how you integrate the process, and it's very simple in Spotfire. It's not a complicated process. Yep. Confidence of statistics. Um, Statistics is something that, as we talked earlier, it does not give you a good picture. It does not help you in understanding the data in a go. You'll take some time. You'll understand the formulas. You'll apply some formulas. Then you'll come to some conclusion. So it does not mean that Spotfire completely rules out statistics. It has statistics inbuilt into it. You have all kind of tools. You have all kind of languages and servers and its engines integrated itself into Spotfire. So statistics always make statistician a smarter person, but we do not rule out completely. All the functions, all the algorithms are already integrated into it. So Spotfire gives an upper hand or to a statistician as well as a person who's only interested in visualization. You can always calculate your results using your algorithms, using your formulas, using your scripts, whatever. And after you have the results in your hand, you can always show them and any kind of visualization. So that way it serves both purpose. So as I said that it helps in making a statistician smarter, it helps everyone make a data-driven decisions. Reach of reports. By reach of report, it means that the reports are easily accessible. You do not have to go on all the lengthwise to have a server do that thing. So Spotfire itself has its own server where it keeps its file, and the server is same for your desktop and for your web applications. So it's not a cumbersome process. So what are the advanced features and what are the examples for that in Spotfire? So we have predictive analytics across the enterprise. See, whenever you understand a market, whenever you do some kind of analysis, the question comes in how, because whatever you have done in past should give you a picture how good were you, how bad were you average, and how good can you do in your future. So that's the whole point in doing an analysis. So whenever you do an analysis, if your tool does not have this capability to predict the future to help you making a predictive analytics, it's of no use. It's completely of no use. So these are some of the features and examples where we say that Spotfire helps with predictive analytics. Spotfire does not, it actually leverages the existing skills and models. It does not have its own model, but the smartest way was to use the existing best models in the market and have them integrated within Spotfire. So That's the whole process where it makes it easy. Now, if somebody is available with all these languages, SAS, MATLAB, R or S plus, so these are the scripts which are very good, which have a good market nowadays. So they have been integrated in Spotfire. Their engine runs within Spotfire. So that makes it little easier. So scripts into your Spotfire app through Spotfire statistics services and access and run them directly from the Spotfire core platform. Fastest to actionable insight. Application authors can configure applications to use statistical models with no coding. With one click, the centrally managed application can be deployed over the web to users. You just need to specify your server and your application will run from your desktop version of Spotfire itself. Predictive and event driven. Immediately add deeper insights by looking at data at rest and data in motion to obtain the 2-second advantage. As I said, the 2-second advantage means, which is the basis for the whole TIBCO industry. It means that if you had a data 2 seconds before, 10 seconds before, or if you had the data in hand, so it would help you in making a correct decision. So it means that data is the foundation, and having the data at the correct time, at the correct place helps you in making a good decisions. Campaign planning and execution. What does that mean? It means that like whenever you start with analysis, it starts with a goal. So how well it helps you in achieving the goal. So the first is identify and target the unique customer segments. Whenever you study the sales pattern, the whole industry pattern, for example, your one customer is doing good and the second is not satisfied with your deals or with your products. So you need to understand why is the first customer satisfied and the second is not satisfied. What can you do to make him a privileged customer or a good customer for you? Sorry. So it gives you an visibility into unknown trends and relationships in the data. Develop rich customer profile and list. Easily access and combine data from multiple marketing applications to develop 360-degree customer view. So whenever you start with your analysis, so at times it happens that you may have data coming from different sources. I have 4 sources and I have data coming in from it. So what you do is you do combine it into Spotfire. We do say that Spotfire is not an ETL tool, so the data grooming, the data refining should be done at your database level. But for some reasons, if you're not able to do it, so you even have the feature to do it in Spotfire. It may take longer time than than your database, but yes, that facility is there. Improve campaign effectiveness. Identify campaign drivers and explore their impact to predictive and analytics to improve market share and value. Portfolio management. So visibility into the unknown, view pipeline for the entire company and determine potential R&D and MA and candidates. Like as I said that I have 10 customers, which 10 customers are good, why they are bad, why I'm not able to sell them products, which is my highest revenue generating sector. So all these things help you in managing the portfolio for your organization. Just a minute. Oh, sorry. So optimize ROI. It means that if you want to predict the cost and revenue and focus on the most valuable projects. How can you predict that I have earned this much in this quarter and this would be the sales in my quarter? So the best example is IPL is going on nowadays. So we say that the strike rate for this player is this much. This is the This is the score predicted for this team whenever they play. So that all is based on the current run rate, how well the players are going, how well the pitch is going on. So this is how you predict the things. It is just a prediction. It is not a hard and core value. So, but it helps you in giving you an estimate. Okay, this much you can do better, and this much you are lacking behind. Instant collaboration. For collaboration, as explained, it has bookmarks, it has lists, it has tags, it has collaboration tools where you can publish your results from on the web. You can even get the results from the web and use them. Fraud detection. So fraud detection, as I say that, for example, I'm in Bangalore and my credit card is being used somewhere else. So these kind of scenarios which are very common, which it helps you in making a decision for fraud detection. For fraud detection, usually what happens is you get a data from a tool which is based on event driven, which has this capability of event processing. So whenever you get data from some kind of these products, so it helps you in making all these decisions. So mitigate losses due to fraudulent transaction. It helps in identifying fraudulent transaction and trends by card, transaction type, vendor, location, and other attributes and metrics. In-depth analysis of fraud patterns. Visual and statistical analytics reveal similarities or patterns across card transaction types and geographies. So it's kind of this fraud detection is kind of a complete whole stream or a complete application whenever you build. So how is your data coming? Why do you think it can be a fraud? So all these scenarios are there when you consider while doing fraud detection. Dimension-free exploration of in-house transaction data and industry-wide sources. Data mashup to find attribute collocation, co-expression across disparate data sources. Again, it means that you have the data coming in from all the servers. Like I'm in India, so I'm getting the data from the servers of Singapore, Brazil, all these servers, and then I correlate the data, and then I come to a conclusion, okay, this kind of fraud is happening at this place. So the cycle of analytic decision making, it helps you in making a predictive and event driven decision. Understand? So by understand, what we mean is that you need to discover the unknown patterns and relationships. Focus on the most impactful parts of your data. For example, I'm into sales department. I'm not considered what the other departments are doing. So my major concern should be how the sales are going on for my department. You need to understand the key drivers behind important metrics. Key drivers means basically the important parts in your data. Whenever you store data into database, you have whole sorts of data. So you need to understand that this data can be useful for me, this data is not useful, this data can help me in making a better decision, and this data may or may not impact my the whole process. So that takes a lot of understanding from you as well to understand this. So what drives customer behavior and retention? If I need to retain this customer, how do I work on it? Anticipate. So it means that improve planning and forecasting. You need to have a better planning, a better forecasting features for yourself. Explore what if scenarios. What if I offer this customer this kind of a deal in future? Will I be able to retain him? If I'm not able to retain him, why cannot I retain him? What can I do better not to lose my customers? So these kind of scenarios, whenever you start working, these are most common scenarios you'll come across. How to manage risk, retain employees, discover trends and in complaints. I've received 10 complaints, how well I was to satisfy my customers and retain them. Optimize. By optimizing, whenever the word optimize comes into business, it means how well you can optimize your revenues there. So it means budgeting and resource allocation, cross-sell, upsell, credit scoring, supply chain, Six Sigma, portfolio management. By monitor it again means 2-second advantage. If you have these whole information before, are you able to make a better decision on it? If you're not able to make a better decision, it means the fault lies in you. So act. By act means is some kind of I've allocated this much budget to this department and still they're not able to do good. So the first thing is, where are the funds going? If I'm not able to satisfy that I've utilized this funds, it means some kind of fraud is going. How to retain the customers? Effective mobile marketing. As the whole world is moving towards mobile, your analytics things should as well move towards mobile. prevent shipping delays. So this is a very common thing in e-commerce. Avoid hardware failures. And at the end, when you have done this whole process, you need to evaluate your whole process. So which were the points I lagged behind? Which were the points I good at? Do I need to add something or did I miss something? So this is the whole cycle which starts from understanding and which ends at evaluation. So you understand the whole market, you act accordingly, and then you evaluate the whole process. Okay, just just to show that how we work. Like understanding means what makes a customer change mobile providers, for example. How can I keep the customer? For example, I'm using I'm using Vodafone, so I'm not satisfied with its services. So what made me change it? So for Vodafone, it is like what can we do to retain this customer? How good we can come with offers? What is the issue with the customers? So these questions come in. How can I keep the customers? Is it worth it? Is this the best thing to do it? It's always not the customer retention. What happens is you're not doing well in your company. You do not get any project. So at the end, you think it's your manager's fault, and when you want to put down the papers, your manager lets you go. So at times, leaving a customer, leaving a company is in somebody's interest always. It does not always mean that you have to retain a customer. Understand what understand what's happening now, make an offer at the right time, and is that thing working? Okay, so this is the Spotfire analytics platform. So this is the whole TIBCO Spotfire architecture. I'll just shift onto this because this will give you a better view. So what happens in Spotfire is a simple formula is you have a client where you'll work, which is a UI for you. So you connect to Spotfire server. Spotfire server will in turn connect to any kind of the data sources you want to connect. So Spotfire client never interacts directly with the data source. The data source has to connect with Spotfire server and the whole data has to come, or a copy of it has to come in Spotfire server. Then only you will be able to work. So this is a high level architecture. Now what kind of clients it has, what kind of servers it has, and what kind of data sources it is supported, this is the whole architecture behind. So we have Spotfire web player. For web player, you need a web player server. By web player, we mean that a web application. Spotfire Enterprise Player, Professional, Minor, Spotfire S Plus. So these are the clients for you. So Spotfire S Plus, it is a statistician server, a statistics tool. It's needed when you are involved in the statistical analytics. And currently, in the latest feature, all this has been integrated into the Spotfire Professional. So you don't have to download it separately and use it. So for the servers, we have web player server, the automation services. So these automation services come into the picture when you say that you have 10 data sources and they refresh once in a day. So once they finish the refreshing, then only Spotfire reports should refresh. So there you need kind of a web service to trigger the whole process because that cannot be handled manually. We have Spotfire server. You have the application data services, the event processing services. TIBCO itself has its event processing services. I'm actually not aware that does anybody else has any event processing services as well. I'm aware of the TIBCO products. Statistics services, I said for Spotfire S Plus UV. And these are the underlying DBAs, the data sources you can connect to. You have RDBMS, spreadsheets, flat files, XML, SAP R3 or Active Business Suite, SQL web services, and even data streams. Many more, you have connectors for everything now. Spotfire main components. Professional, Spotfire desktop, Spotfire analytics. So this is the version which you will be using. These are all one and the same thing. So it helps you in visualization and interact with and share the data. So perform dimension-free data exploration on data and contextually collaborate on findings. Perform self-service discovery. Basically, it is a UI for you. Whatever you make it on it and then publish it on the web. Allows anyone in the organization to be fastest to actionable insight and frees up critical IT resources. Easily develop and deploy analytical applications. Enterprise platform with unmatched performance and massive scalability. Once you start using these tools, you understand that how you can use the visualizations, how you can make a good report and all these things. Spotfire server. So it's a one-stop solution. Spotfire has only one server. You store everything there. Your data is there. Your reports are there. The information links are there. Your data sources, the columns, everything. The joins, whatever you make, the procedures, whatever you write, everything is stored onto the Spotfire server. So manage security and a library of best practice templates. You can connect to enterprise, departmental, or local data sources. Centralized point for maintenance and distribution. Deploy a universal adaptable platform. A single-stop solution is single platform for deploying. Single analytics and data discovery platform empowers anyone anywhere to make insightful decisions. Leverage enterprise class technology. Unmatched performance and massive scalability. Web player. Your Spotfire web player is the one which will be handing over to your customers. You never give a desktop version because for desktop versions you need to have the softwares at the right place. No customer has it. So you need to have a web player or a web connection for that. So extend the reach of analytics. With one-click analysis, file can be made available over the web to internal users, customers, suppliers, and partners. Be the fastest to actionable insight. By leveraging Spotfire analytics inside portals, applications of website, visibility into the unknown can be quickly obtained. It means if you have a front kind of something like you have a Java application and you want to integrate Spotfire with it, you can even do that. Explore and share anywhere. Even WebPlayer has its own feature where you can download the file, download the reports, download the data, and if you want to share it, you can share it on any of the portals you want. Spotfire visualizations. What are visualizations? Visualizations are the key to analyzing data in Spotfire. By visualizations, you mean I said in the layman term, it's kind of a diagram you draw to represent your data. So these are some of the visualizations which are supported and which are inbuilt in Spotfire. Spotfire even gives you an control to build your own visualizations, but that's far way to go because you need to be good in some kind of scripting to do that. So the visualizations which are supported are tables, cross tables, bar charts, line charts, combination charts, pie charts, scatter plots, 3D scatter plots, map charts, tree maps, heat maps, parallel coordinate plots, summary tables, and box plots. You need to understand these visualizations in detail to understand which visualization will be best for your use case. So, Spotfire advanced features. We have detail on demand and details visualization. Detail on demand is known as DoD window as well. By DoD window, we mean that this is it's nothing. It's just a table which will show you the data whenever you mark a data onto a visualization. So I've selected 2-3 countries. I'm showing all the data from all the countries, but I need to understand the data from only 2 cities. So whenever you mark those cities, you'll get the data for those 2 cities. So a special table designed to show the underlying data, individual rows and columns for the marked data in the active visualizations. You can customize the information that will be visible on the DoD window. By default, DoD window will show all the rows and all the columns. But if you want to limit the columns, not the rows, you can limit them. Details visualization. Details visualization means like DoD window is like the DoD window is a table only. Now I have a pie chart. Whenever I click on a pie chart, I want a bar chart to be generated. So that is known as details visualization. So whenever you make a selection to a pie chart, you have a bar chart formed. So a quick way to make a new visualization which is dependent upon marked rows in the current visualization, right click on the active visualization and choose the type from the create details visualization option. So how it is done. Now you can see you have 2 scatter plots. In one scatter plot you have marked these points. So this is the details on demand window, which is nothing a table where you're showing the data, and you can see a bar chart is formed, which is kind of a details visualization. It's not only the bar chart you can form, you can have all kind of visualizations here. So Spotfire, head-to-head competition with others. We have other tools as well. We never say that they are not better, but yes, we are at par with them. So you'll understand some of the criteria. I'll give you just an overview of them. So these are some of the business criteria. By implementation speed, how good can you implement? So Spotfire and QLiquid are the fastest to implement, fastest to understand, fastest to have a control over all the visualizations. Scalability. So by scalability, you mean that do you have any constraints over your system configuration? So for Spotfire, it's unlimited. Pricing is like average, above average, and high. Licensing and support cost. So this is something which everybody is good at, because that's the way when you sell your products and you have to maintain it. Enterprise readiness, excellent, good for SMB and good for SMB. By SMB means small and medium business. So Spotfire does not have any kind of constraint that it can be only used for small and medium business. We have large customers as well, large database views as well, so you can use anything. Long-term viability, good, one product and average. So by technical criteria, interactive visualization. The basic feature for Spotfire is the visualizations which are supported by it. Data integration. Data integration, you mean how good you can integrate the data from different sources, how good can you connect with it. So the data integration is best in Spotfire with various data connectors available. Visual drill down. By drill down, you mean I have made a high level visualization. I need to keep on drilling down until I reach the 0 point, which is very good in Spotfire. Dashboard support. Dashboards are nothing, the reports, whatever you make in Spotfire, those are known as dashboards. This is excellent in Spotfire. Integration with GIS. By GIS means that by GIS means information how well we can show on maps, how well can maps be used, and we have seen the Google Maps, right? You can calculate, you can have the ongoing data, the ongoing traffic visualizations, how the traffic will be in this area, how well it can be coordinated. So it's not good as Google Maps, but yes, it incorporates some of the features. Modeling and analytics. Spotfire is the best and Excel is the most popular for modeling and analytics. UI and set of visual controls. Visual controls is how can you control your visualizations. What features can you have, like the tooltips you can have, the colors you can have. So these are the visual controls. Development environment. It has rich API, it has its own API for all kinds of scripts. So in term, if we sum up, Spotfire is good for visual analytics, QLiquid is good for DB and drill down, and Tableau is good for visual OL. So by market, see, analytics is something which is used across all the organizations, by all the departments and all the organizations, even for small or medium or large businesses. Analytics always comes into picture. So these are some of the industries which, whatever I have listed: energy industry, financial services, manufacturing industry, consumer goods and retail, life sciences, telecommunication. By department, sales, marketing, finance, and human resources. So jobs and career. So analytics is something which will never fade away from market. So no matter in what form you use, that analytics has to be there always in the market, because without this you cannot run a business. So all the IT companies, service specific companies, and whatever the industries or departments I've given in market section. So all these and these markets use your analytics. This is like all an introduction to Spotfire and analytics from my side. If you have any questions, you can ask me.